Hello game trollers and welcome to a new video and welcome to another Game Troller Who video. Today we'll be continuing with our discussions of Series 12 and today we're going to be focusing on a specific character being one of the main TARDIS team, and of course I think it's probably the second most irritating, annoying, I'm not sure. We're talking about Yas, right? It's really irritating how little they've done with Yas, you know. I'm a bit sleepy, so if I get ranty, that's why, but yeah, Yas is an interesting situation. I really do I really do wonder what's going through their heads, because back 2017, before the regeneration even, right? I think it was like after Jodie got announced, maybe even like August, September 2017, they announced the three companions. They announced Graham, Ryan, and Yas in that little like picture with the four of them in like their normal clothes. And I remember a lot of comments and a lot of people going, "Oh, would you look at that SJW casting, bad." And it's like, well, it's not SJW casting if one, they're talented, and two, they're written well. In the case of, Ryan, the writing was all good for Ryan, but I don't think Tosin Cole was right for the role. I'm not saying Tosin Cole's a bad actor, but it's just, like, he doesn't exactly match the vibe that they were going for. Like, in all the behind the scenes stuff, Tosin Cole seems super energetic. They had him play a really soft, moody kind of character, and I don't think that really works very well. And it's kind of the opposite of Yas, where I think Man of Gill, her acting was fine. Like, she delivered every line perfectly, she was good, right? She did enough facial expressions, all that stuff, but then the actual, the writing was just not there for Yas at all. They just did nothing for her or with her. It was rough, man. It was rough. So, for Series 12, right, first things first, what do you need to do with Yas? Focus on her police skills, because that's a part of her character, right? She's a cop. She was introduced as a cop, so you should do more cop style stuff with her, And I'm not gonna sit here and be a hypocrite and say, oh, every companion, especially in like New Who, every companion's used their job and it's been a big part of their character. I'm not saying that happened, like Rory was a nurse, Martha was a medical student, but I'm pretty sure never in that entire, in their entire run did they spend every episode treating someone's injuries or something, Amy was a model, but I'm pretty sure they never mentioned her attractiveness. So, it's not to say that's a prerequisite that what a companion's job is should dictate how their character should act, but like in Classic Who, there were roles for companions, Leela, Jamie, they were warrior people, so they did most of the fight scenes. Zoe and all that, they were introduced as scientists, so she did a lot of scientific stuff, so it's like they should do more with Yas. And I'm not saying they haven't used her police stuff at all. It's not like it went completely unmentioned, but it was so few and far between that you do just forget. The only times they actually show off her police skills is of course in Woman Who Fell to Earth. Then Rosa in that little bit when she's looking into, she was investigating something. I can't exactly remember the context, but she was investigating something, doing some research, right? And then all the way in Kablam, she was looking through a filing cabinet, and then she held Charlie in a hammerlock, and then It Takes You Away, she was good at consoling the blind girl, because police are trained to deal with people. So there were those moments, but at the same time, it's like then you have a scene like the bit in Arachnids in the UK when she's just like the guy has a gun on her. You know, Robertson's like bodyguard has a gun on her. She just stands there like an oaf, not saying anything, whilst her mom is getting roasted in the corner. It's like you're a cop. You're in your jurisdiction, right? You should have at least been like, "Hey, I'm a cop. You're aiming a gun at a cop. I hope you know it's illegal to hold a gun. I'm just saying I'm a cop." You know, like that was like prime moment for Yas to actually do some policing, but she didn't act like a cop. She barely did anything in that whole episode at all. So, you know, it's like, yeah. So, I mean, first off, I feel like they should designate, like, roles for the companions, because in Series 11 they kind of just floated around it, and it was like, hey, you do this meaningless task, you do this meaningless task, oh, you go over here and do something here, while we're doing, like, they should have roles, you know, like, Yaz should be, like, the smart, like, investigating one who, if there ever is trouble, she should be doing some fighting, right? She and the doctor should, you know, be throwing hands. You know what I'm saying? Like they all should be throwing hands. I'm not saying there should be fight scenes, right? But there should be fight scenes. I'm just saying. Anyway, you know. So that's one. You know, like focus on her police stuff. I actually have an idea for an episode based on her being a cop. So like maybe like episode 3 or 4, Yaz decides she wants to go back home, you know, like maybe not permanently but for a decent amount of time, right? And then she like goes up the ranks. It's like a few months have passed since she left the TARDIS. She goes up the ranks in her cop stuff, right? And then like there's this robbery, but this robbery isn't like any other normal robbery. The thieves have used some kind of alien technology to do it. And so, sees this, she calls up the doctor on the phone like, hey, yo, there's some bad stuff over here, aliens, man, they're stealing our money. Then, shenanigans, they look it up, blah, blah, blah. Kind of like the plot of Spider-Man Homecoming. Bit of a spoiler, but it's not really, where, Vulture was using, was it Chitauri? Yeah, Chitauri tech to steal stuff, or he was stealing Chitauri tech, or like whatever. I haven't actually seen it, so it's kind of like that. You could also use this as an opportunity to reference an old villain, where you don't even need them to show up. You can just use one of like their weapons or their gadgets or something. I'm not entirely sure which villain. Could be something from Torchwood even, because obviously Torchwood was very much on Earth and stuff, but it would be like weird for something from Cardiff to make its way to Sheffield. I don't know how difficult that would be, but you know, there's ways to do that. You know, like you don't need them to be in the episode. You can just use that as a reference to them, and that would also be good at showing off some Yaz stuff. And also, you could focus on Yaz. You can actually have an episode where Yaz probably is the main character, right? You could have it be a Dr. Light episode. The Doctor's like separate from Yaz doing something else, and Yaz is doing the main stuff. You know, like there's ways. So one thing I want is a Dr. Light episode, as I said, that's focused on Yaz. At the very least, do that. You don't need to do the whole, she's a cop investigating robberies stuff. You could just do something else where you just have Yaz and like Graham or Ryan, and the Doctor's separate from them, or like the Doctor's been captured or trapped or something. And yeah. Speaking of which, there's an episode with the Jadoon, space police, and you have a cop companion. This is not an opportunity to miss, guys. I'm just putting that out there. It's like, you had that Curse of the Black Spot, you had like super computer nurse thing, and then Rory, and they barely even mentioned the fact that there's 2 nurses there. Yeah. Besides that, I really don't know what you could do with Yaz, because there's so little up to her that is just, you know, like, obviously the big one is like getting her in a romance. Obviously, either with Ryan or the Doctor, one of them would be fine. I'm not entirely sure which one. I don't think it would really matter. Maybe Ryan, because they've kind of got past their little arcs and stuff by now. So maybe like Yaz and Ryan, and you could have that. You know, it would basically just give more depth, you know, to the story, because it was very shallow. Series 11. It's like, hey, Grace is dead. Grace is dead, and then the rest are kind of just like the stories, and it was, you know, like it's like, if you're not gonna have a series arc, like you're not gonna have the cracks in time, at the very least have like a character arc. Like you could do, you know, you could be like series 5 where you take out the cracks in time, but you still have like the Amy and Rory relationship going on and stuff like that. So there's that too. You know, you could do more stuff there. You could make it. You could. Ah! And the thing about Series 11, how empty it was. It was just so empty. I want Series 12 to be less empty. And I think Yaz is probably a big fix to that, where you could do stuff with Yaz, like focus on her policing skills, get her in a relationship, so then you could add some extra tension to, like, if Ryan is in danger, not only are you scared about Ryan dying, but you're also thinking about how is Yaz gonna take this, you know. It's kind of like Stranger Things, where like if Mike is in danger, you're thinking, not only just thinking about Mike's in danger, oh my goodness, he's gonna die, but you're also thinking about how's 11 gonna react to this, you know. So and that adds an extra layer, you know, of tension, as I said. But yeah, as I said, there's just so little with Yaz that I'm not sure what you could really do with her that would, I mean, like, there's so little foundation there that I'm not sure how you can build upon it, you know. It's so, you're in an empty lot right now. You guys need to at least build something. You need to make a shack, right? We can't just have 2 seasons of just dirt, okay? You know, of just plain, not even concrete, sand, just some terrible material, right? But yeah, so yeah. Also, right, if you're gonna do something with her family, don't relegate them to just like a side thing. You know, you need to focus on them more. You know, give, because right now they're really one-dimensional, and like she's the only companion with a family. So I feel like it would be nice to build up her family a little bit. You know, but then again, it's like, you know, I don't think any other companions had so many family members. Like, Rose just had her mom, and then occasionally her dad would come up, but it wasn't even her dad, so... And then, like, I mean, Martha had a family, and they were kind of not as developed, but, I mean, they still played a point in the story a lot of the time. Like, obviously, the finale is almost centered around Martha and her family. Even though they, as I said, they weren't super developed. Like, you knew her dad was, you know, her mom and dad were like divorced, and her dad was seeing some other chick, you know, and her mom was like being manipulated by the master to think the doctor is dangerous and try to separate Martha from the doctor and blah blah blah. You know, there's stuff like that where that happens, but so like maybe do something extra with, you know, Riaz's mom and stuff. Maybe do something with her dad. Maybe you could continue on that one thing from Arachnids, where like Yas's sister was eyeing up Ryan. Like, she was like, "Are you seeing my sister?" And Ryan's like, "No." And then she's like, "That's good." You know, like, you could do something like that, where like some kind of weird love triangle. You know, something like that. I'm just trying to get something out of this season. I don't even care if it's bad, right? Like, you could do Clara and Danny. At the very least, I can know that it's bad and I can get mad at it. Whereas Series 11, like, it wasn't even that bad. It was just so empty and bland that I can't even get mad at it half of the time. Where, yeah, you know, it's just, yeah, I don't know, man. But that's it for this video. There's not much to say about it. Yes, I just wanted to do something with her. and I've kind of given my ideas and stuff, but as I said, there's just little to her at the moment. But yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I think I'll be doing maybe Graham and Ryan next time. Be combining those two because I don't have much to say about them. And then obviously the big one is the Doctor, the 13th Doctor. And yeah, so see you for those videos. We got some other stuff going on. Watch Dogs be continuing, and I got a special walkthrough that may or may not have come out by this point. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Troll on me, boy.